AVG Draci Brno a Ostravští Arrows.
Gracjan Kraszewski.
Yep. Hello everyone, welcome to a very special episode of Plyometric Mathematics, the essential course at the intersection of philosophy, mathematics, and athletics. Today we're talking about in this lesson 125, essential formulas. And so you see we're eventually going to end up over here. I'm going to take you through this whole process. We're going to end up at A1 plus A2 FRB, P approximation, P potentiality equals PR, BJU 12 equals where we're trying to go, D 10-4, 10-5. Lesson 25, Plyometric Mathematics. Here we go. So the whole, the D conclusion, of course, stands for dunks. That's what plyometrics really are geared towards. Yes, you can talk about speed, you can talk about change of direction, whatever your sport may be. It really is all about dunking. That's the ultimate kind of gold medal, apex goal, top of the mountain, whatever kind of language you want to use. We're trying to get to dunks. And of course, as everyone knows, a standard basketball hoop is 10 feet. If you follow this formula in lesson 25, we're talking about 10-4, 10-5 dunking. So I believe it's quite effective, quite essential within this branch of philosophy. So first step, A1 and A2, full range of motion. Full range of motion deadlift at 500 pounds minimum. A2, full range of motion bench press at 300 pounds minimum. And of course, as you see over there, you want to combine these two things. So the first step in this formula, A1 plus A2, full range of motion, 500 pound deadlift, 300 pound bench press. This will lead to, these two things in conjunction, an amalgamation together will lead to FRB, which stands for flexible response bonification. Bunnies, hops, jumping ability. Flexible response bonification. This because you're having a certain level of elasticity of flexible response, as the acronym tells you, both in the upper and lower body. Of course, talk about jumping, you're talking about your core, you're talking about activating the core, you're talking about the legs. But having that arm swing and that prep step, all that stuff is very, very important too. So years and years of research, especially by scientists in the most remote parts of Switzerland, have led us to believe 500 pound full range of motion deadlift, 300 pound bench press will lead to, in this first register here, FRB, flexible response bonification. But this remains still in this potentiality phase, right? Just because you have A1, A2 is not a guarantee of getting to the final level yet. It's in potentiality. However, potentiality, therefore, if you get PR, this does not stand for personal record. People in athletic fields know, I set a PR in blank, a personal record. This in our formula, this stands for potential realized. If the potentiality of the flexible response bonification is in fact realized and proved in the broad jump, BJU's broad jump, also known for our European listeners as standing long jump, used to be an Olympic event that was discontinued 100 years ago or so. If it's realized around a 12-foot broad jump, which is very good, then and only then do you arrive at dunk realization, no longer potentiality, but dunk realization 10-4, 10-5. And so I'm going to take you through this process. In fact, I believe any scientist worth worth anything. Any scientist who even pretends at a shred of credibility will hypothesize and then test, right? He'll test his hypothesis. And so this video, of course, is me myself as a scientist, as a mathematician, but also as athlete. And that's what you'll see in this video going through these steps. If you're able to have flexible response modification from 500 deadlift to 300 pound bench and realize that it's no longer floating potentiality, but potential realized by virtue of a 12-foot broad jump, those three ingredients, 500 deadlift, 300 bench, 12-foot broad jump, should lead you to be able to dunk at 10.4 and 10.5. Now, of course, you're talking about, I myself am 6'1", 195 pounds. Someone who is 6'6" is going to be able to dunk even higher. Someone who is 5'8", 5'9", maybe is just dunking on 10 feet. Still incredibly impressive for someone at that height. Of course, arm length, standing reach is going to factor in. And we've, again, these Swiss scientists have considered all these things. We've left no stone unturned. But there you have it. And again, it's one thing to put it on the board. It's another thing to go out in the field and test this science and seek to eventually get it published in peer-reviewed articles, and all that, the whole scientific process that is part of this emerging field of plyometric mathematics. So thank you, my friends. And before I show you this, let me recap now on the board over here in the kind of short form of this formula now that you see the whole explanation. Lesson 25 of plyometric mathematics. A1 plus A2. 500 deadlift with 300 bench will give you flexible response bonification, but the potentiality phase. If potentiality is potential realized, broad jump 12 feet, then you're here. And you're at dunking at 10.4, 10.5.